And it does. And the problem with as we continue this, there was another thing that was floating around social media and talking about, money for lawyers and what you have. It's so funny how as kids, you would hear in these like kids movies, like, you'll be hearing from my lawyer, from a rich person. Because now that really makes sense, because they have like the best fucking lawyer in the world. And it's like, oh, when you're rich, you get the people who get you off, both sexually and legally. Like, this is what they do. This is their job, because they get paid shit tons of money. What was her name from Full House? Was it Lori Loughlin?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I've been seeing this one float around about, how she was like faking admissions for whatever, for her kids. So she got some time, a small amount of time in prison for it. Whenever there was
3 months.
It was small. I know that. I don't know the exact, but I know it was very small.
Her partner got 6 months and she got like 3 months or some stupid, or 2 months.
She got 2 months and 17 hours for good behavior, probably.
So then, so when they compare that, to a black woman who, got 5 years in prison for lying on a public record about her address, because she was putting the address of a friend's house, that lived in a different district, so her kid can go to that school because it's better. She got 5 years in prison. So they're like, what's,
have to crack down on this type of crime.
So the thing is that, this is something that goes beyond race, because it looks racial when you go side by side. No, that's money. That's all fucking money. That woman did not have the money to hire a lawyer that could boil this down and find all the loopholes. She may have had a public defendant. She may have had something that couldn't provide the adequate, sources that she needed to make sure that she's not serving 5 years in prison. Lori Loughlin got the best lawyer her money could buy, and now she's only serving 3 months. So that's the difference. The difference there is money and where the distribution of wealth goes, which also goes into socioeconomic inequality, which bleeds into everything else that we all fucking believe in, but nobody else wants to fucking look at, because I work so hard for my stuff. Why can't you? And it's like, these are the fucking
problems. By your own bootstraps.
I support Black Lives Matter, but my only criticism of Black Lives Matter is I would take it just slightly up a notch and make this not a race thing. I'm not saying that as a white man. I say this as as someone that's always been nowhere near past that upper crust. Nowhere close to it. Black Lives Matter, yes, but they're screwing you with the money, man. Like, this is a socioeconomic thing. It is a race thing too, in many regards, but mostly
the wealth disparity.
Dude, we are. It's the Black Lives Matter is, again, something I support, but this is something like the racial tensions, and I'm not trying to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but man, they want that. The rich would rather have that racial tension than us.
Than them looking at you. Yes.
What are the odds? They like to bring up, like you said jokingly, Dustin, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. But what's the more likely outcome? Like, you're born, there's Richard Sherman, who's born in Compton and ended up going to, I think, Stanford and getting drafted by the NFL, Okay, what's the percentage of that happening?
It's 0.0000001.
0.00000 Richard Sherman. So, you have someone in fucking Compton that is just as, a black kid born in Compton.
Was it Larry Allen? Larry Allen for the Cowboys. He was from Compton, and he had like little college experience. He was just a big fucking dude. Like,
but not saying that it doesn't happen. It's just like,
but is
it going to happen to you?
Even with the brains, like, you have people that are just equally capable of being lawyers and doctors, but they're not given the education or abilities. So if you're born in a nice suburban New Hampshire home versus a place in fucking what's it called now? The Bishop's Art District.
Oh, gross. Just say Deep Ellum. Say
Oak Cliff.
Say Oak Cliff. Say whatever.
Say it. Say it.
Take the ghettoest city in the world and take the most affluent, and you take two kids that are born the same day that have just an equal amount of ability and potential as a person, which one's going to make it to college? And no one talks about that because it usually doesn't affect them. And those are two like extreme things. I'm talking about super rich and super, just these neighborhoods that don't have the infrastructure, don't have the even the amount of teachers needed to teach the amount of students that they would have, just even things as small as that. But then you all say, well, this is America. We all have the same chance. I know we don't have the same chance. I'm very sorry.
There's a division, and it's almost like, but the thing is I agree 100% with what you said right there. The rich few would rather have, and if Mama were listening right now, she has always said they would rather have you divided and arguing with each other than focusing on a real problem when it comes to, she said, either the government or the wealthy or whatever. Like, they would rather have us argue than actually look upwards and unite against that.
No, that's been my biggest problem with the narrative overall ever since the Floyd protests started. And these are still the Floyd protests.
Oh, of course. And it keeps getting revamped with another and another.
Nothing has changed. There have been more things happen since that began, but we're in the same era. So that's what kills me about it. The way that they try to make the narrative is that this is an us versus them. Don't let the protesters, sorry. Don't let the rioters ruin your business. They're going to burn your houses down. Instead, like we said a couple weeks ago when Nikki was on, there's somewhere in between. Yeah, they're not all good actors. And no, they're not all bad actors on both sides. If I can quote apparently someone that a lot of people worship, I'm sure there were very fine people on both sides. So maybe the truth is in the middle somewhere, and maybe, like you're saying exactly, Mike, instead of making the narrative us versus them, or rather rioters versus upstanding citizens that want to protect the nation, maybe it's just that there's a bunch of people that are really tired of the way things have been going on for the last 60 years. I would conservatively say 60 years.
We always have. And you know what? On this, on T4N, we always have really good conversations about stuff like this, about social injustice or politics or whatever. And I think we're all really, really good about, now we have our opinions, but we're really good at pointing out a lot of shit on both sides. And I think, nobody would bat an eye to call out somebody on your own side that hosts this show. And I love that. But I feel like, whenever we wrote for this show, did you not get this sense of fatigue? Like, I'm done talking about it. I'm done. You're done.
Every day, but you have to keep talking about it.
Yeah, but you're
to be done.
My chest, it's starting to ache. I get these shooting pains down my arm.
You didn't take your blood pressure medicine today.
Fuck, dude, you're fucking right. I did.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. We should be talking about it. But man, I'm just so tired of saying the same thing over and over again.